All right, Beadle. DiGiorno's frozen pizza is dropping Thanksgiving pizza. Turkey, sweet potatoes, green beans, cranberries, gravy instead of tomato sauce, plus mozzarella cheese on top, all on a pizza. Beadle, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that that's criminal and somebody should be held responsible for that. 100%.
You passed the test. It's a crime.
It's a crime. From Wondery, I'm Michelle Beadle.
And I'm Peter Rosenberg.
And this is Over the Top.
The flames burning higher and higher. And when all is lost, and it's down to the wire, no matter the cost, you stand in the fire.
Here's how this show works. The best stories of the week in sports and pop culture face off to crown a champion and answer one simple question. What is the undisputed, most important thing on planet Earth this week? We're going to decide this the only way we know how. Using Royal Rumble rules. We start with two stories. We decide which one is more worthy to discuss and which one's got to go. After 90 seconds, a new story will be introduced and we'll have to decide whether we want to keep talking about our current story or switch to the new one. Now, we don't know the order of stories coming our way, but we do decide which ones get thrown over the top rope. Got it? Great. Peter, what's up first?
All right, the first topic's to the ring today. It's week 2 of Wemby, and he's already embarrassing veterans. Did we think it would happen this fast for Big V? And Joe Burrow is back and finally healthy. So now the Bengals, Super Bowl contenders, am I right? Are we talking Wemby or Burrow's Bengals?
Okay, look. I agree there's a vibe that's back with Joe Burrow, and that's cute and all, but I'm not ready to crown them Super Bowl champs yet. That is just getting way ahead of yourself. But the greatest basketball player of all time, yeah, I'm ready to crown him that right now. So I am sorry, Joe Burrow. Carefully show yourself over the top if you don't mind.
Whoa, hold on. I'd like to weigh in also. Let me just say this.
Okay,
I'm gonna grant you this because this Wemby thing is special, and I'm taking advantage of the fact that I'm doing a podcast with someone who's so close to this story. So we should do Wemby, but I just like to say, and I want to discuss this on a further over the top.
Oh.
At this very moment, if you asked me a quarterback to start a team with, it's not Patrick Mahomes.
What?
It's Joe Burrow. Yeah, it's Joe friggin' Burrow. But
why? Because his finger bleeds and he keeps playing? That's why?
I just, you know what it is? I just like the cut of his jib.
Oh, God. You know what? That matches your sweater, that sentence. Well done. Can we go? Can we talk?
All right. So fine. Burrow goes over the top to start. Let's do some Wemby talk. All right, Michelle, relish the moment. He is looking like a G.
Where were you, Peter, when the man registered 38 points, already setting career highs, and they swept the Suns, a team that has been called a contender by many, an expert already in this shortened early version of the season that we've seen? He is not just an offensive monster, but what he can do on defense, it's comical. And I believe we're only seeing 8 to 12% of what he's capable of so far. Not just that, but we got to see him up against Kevin Durant. Not once, but twice. And we got to see Kevin Durant talk about him afterwards with such love and almost pride that I am so excited about the future. That is, I don't have words anymore. Truly.
Listen, you're not just being a fangirl. I mean, you are. But that being said, since I don't know, it was a few months ago, I started getting the hunch and looking at this kid that I'm watching him just play in the summer, and I'm like, there's something about him that looks ready right now. So I'm into this story because I've been on board and believe he's the hands down rookie of the year and will immediately be an impact. And I love being right more than anything. But I will say, even with that, it's exceeding all expectation. I don't know the comp for this actually. That starts to be the really interesting conversation is what is the comp? Because it's not like LeBron started like this. It's not like Kobe started like this. I mean, this is better. You would know really well. This is more impressive, it looks like, out of the gate than even a David Robinson or Tim Duncan.
A true hybrid, which I love so much. All right, so I don't like that was the first topic, though, by the way, because now he's got to survive a lot more to get to the end, and he's got to survive this next one. A YouTuber has taken over WWE. Logan Paul defeats Rey Mysterio, becoming the new WWE United States champion. Are we continuing the Wemby discussion, or do you want to chat Logan Paul?
I really like Logan Paul. I know that sounds crazy, and I know you're kind of going to groan. If I know you well at all, I could see you totally groaning, but I'm kind of into the Logan Paul in WWE thing. So I know how you feel. It's your boy Wemby, but I will just point out, Wemby's going to be a topic basically every week, all
Fair.
season long. This is Logan's first title win.
Okay, all right. So I'm sorry, Wemby, Mr. Wembenyama, if you don't mind. Over the top you go. And Logan Paul, step on up. I can't wait to hear you about this.
So let me give you my case for Logan Paul, and for people listening and watching. If your only familiarity with Logan Paul is kind of like the Paul brothers in general, and of course that really terrible story of Logan Paul from like 5-6 years ago, whatever it was,
the Japanese forest.
Yes, if those are the only things you know about Logan Paul, I totally understand why you'd groan and sort of roll your eyes. That's certainly how I felt when he first came to WWE. But getting to watch this dude perform up close, and also have the privilege of being there and getting to see how he carries himself generally, it is really hard for me not to root for this guy. Dude, Beadle, just like we talked about how freakish Wembayama is.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen someone show up to WWE and be this naturally gifted. He's not flawless, but he is incredibly special. And this is really a cool piece. He's been around now for a couple years. He wins the U.S. Championship from a legend in Rey Mysterio. Now he'll get to bring around a WWE championship. Granted, of course, it's not the championship, but it's a championship, and he'll get to bring that around with him. This is the ultimate use. You could go all the way back to Rock and Wrestling and Cyndi Lauper being involved in WrestleMania 1. This is what it was all about. This is the best example of how you could use an outsider in WWE, and the kid is killing it. I got love for Logan Paul.
You know what? He's a hustler. I don't have to like him as a person, but I can respect the hustle. He did used to drive up and down the streets in my neighborhood with his brother just revving Lamborghini engines. And so that douchey move I'll never forgive. But maybe we can accept the WWE move. Maybe.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm telling you, I didn't know him back then, but he carries himself like a very humble person at this stage in his life. All right,
I'll take your word.
Who's coming down to the ring to challenge the U.S. champion Logan Paul? Oh, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. They defeated the Dolphins in Germany, of course. Whenever I think of football, I think of a good old Frankfurt bout, bringing Miami's record against winning teams to 0-3. You want to talk about Chiefs Dolphins, the Tua Mahomes of it all, or you want to stay with Logan Paul winning WWE gold?
Shockingly, I did not mind the Logan Paul topic. But I certainly don't want it to go on any longer. So for that, he's very familiar with this. Please, sir, over the top. And we need to talk Miami Dolphins, Peter, because what we're seeing right now is, again, the same thing all of us talking heads in this business are guilty of. We jump on these bandwagons. I just made up a new cool word.
A baggin' wagon.
A baggin' wagon. And we anoint people like, this is it. This is the one. This is the offense. You know, when you drop 70 points on another NFL team, who can blame us for thinking we were watching something magical? But it turns out maybe we were not, and we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. I like the Miami Dolphins team, but I don't think they have what it's going to take to sort of keep up with the big dogs. I mean, look, I don't even think Patrick Mahomes has necessarily looked like Patrick Mahomes the last couple games, at least not the version we're used to. I don't know if it's like, maybe they're Golden State Warriorsing, where you sort of cruise through the regular season knowing that you're playing for the Super Bowl and nothing else. But for me, I think the big story here is, who are these Dolphins, and why did we think that they were heading straight to the top?
I mean, in all fairness, I agree with everything you said, but in all fairness, to defend us, gas bags who talk for a living about everything.
Yeah.
They really were putting up insane, like, record-setting numbers. So, like, Tua, what he was doing at the beginning of this season and what they were doing, I mean, obviously you pointed out the 70 spot will get anybody talking. You do not see that every day.
No.
I certainly understand why we got so hyped, but yeah, you look at them now and you're like, what is this team really? That being said, I don't know. You're right. Mahomes was not special again. 185 yards. He has not been the Patrick Mahomes that we know and love. But that defense for Kansas City is very good.
Yeah, that's a good thing. All right. Coming in hot. Oh, this one is coming in hot. The NBA in-season tournament started last Friday. Do you remember when that happened? Only 2 weeks into the season. From the format to the colors of the beautiful courts, people are hella confused. Are we talking Mahomes and the Chiefs and the Dolphins, or are we going to sort of try to address the NBA in-season tournament? Go!
I'm not a hater of the tournament, but that being said, I'm also not interested enough in it to talk about it over the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Yeah, I think there's more meat on the Chiefs Dolphins bone, but I'll hear you out.
No, you know what? I'm actually okay with that. I think we've only had 1 day of in-season tournament play, and the courts seem to be the main topic. So there'll be time. We've got a whole month of this in-season tournament. I'm with you. Go ahead.
All right, the NBA in-season tournament goes over the top. Let's stay with the Chiefs and the Dolphins.
Yeah,
By the way,
yeah.
I did see the Celtics-Nets game on Saturday night at Barclays
Nice.
Center. Saw JT get his 10,000th point. It was wonderful.
Yeah, they're good.
So the Chiefs and Dolphins are super interesting, right? Like you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who at this point are probably back to being the Super Bowl favorites now that San Francisco appears to be dead as a doornail all of a sudden after 3 games. But Miami, I don't think the story's been written. And just like we were too quick to get high on the Dolphins, I don't think we should make the same mistake and get too low on them either. For example, just this week in Frankfurt, they really got down. They got down 21-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
7. It was not pretty. But the Chiefs did not dominate that game. In fact, the Dolphins really should have come back and tied that game in the second half, and we'd be having a completely different conversation. I'm not ready to throw away the Dolphins or the Bills, frankly, in the AFC East, even though neither of them are quite there yet.
I have one recommendation for the international games, and maybe I'm the only one that's curious, but they do so much crowd shot, right? Like there's so many fan shots during these games, more than any game stateside. I need to know who these people are. I want to know more. I want to know if they're locals. I want to know if they flew, because there were people wearing team uniforms that were not in this game.
Oh, yeah.
I need to know, are you German and do you love the Vikings during this game?
By the way, that is one of the great points ever made on the history of this show.
Thank you. And that is a long history, so I appreciate the kind words.
No, it's sort of like a Wembyama career high.
The greatest comment ever made on this show.
In the last 2 weeks, that was it.
Woo!
All right, guys, I'm hearing music, and it's getting louder. It's Mark Zuckerberg's music, of course. Yes, Zuck tore his ACL training for a competitive MMA fight. Chiefs, Dolphins, or Zuck, this is easy for me. I'm good if we never talk about Mark Zuckerberg. So
What?
I would stay Chiefs, Dolphins, but if you're a big Zuck guy, we can talk it out.
You don't want to. No, we have to talk. Look at how hard he looks in that picture. He's like, I'm injured, but I'll be back. Like, ugh. Combat sports guy. Seriously? You want to talk Miami and Kansas City? We could talk about this. Also, you know what? No, we're talking Zuckerberg. There was a moment in time.
All right, fine. Over the top you go,
Fine.
Chiefs and Dolphins. We have to talk about this guy.
Look at him. My God.
And by the way, we're looking at a
fear.
picture, for our listeners, we're looking at a picture of this pathetic nerd sitting in a hospital bed. I don't care how rich he is. He's a pathetic nerd sitting in a hospital bed with making a fist like it's Anderson Silva after a hard-fought UFC loss. All right, go ahead, Beadle.
I hear a lot of jealousy coming out of you right now because you don't have the stamina or the self-discipline to train like this man is training unnecessarily to put himself in harm's way when he really doesn't need to at all. But the only way I'm interested in this, honestly, is when it's he and Elon Musk. And if the Roman Colosseum, which I was against initially because that is my motherland, that is my mother city, and I was embarrassed that they would even entertain the idea of putting these two nerds in the greatest combat sport venue in the history of the planet. But I thought about it, and I'll be honest with you, it's like It's like porn for nerds. It's actually probably as close to porn as nerds would get. Put them together and let them fight it out. Let them bloody each other up. Let's see what these two dorks can really do. And let's be honest, Zuckerberg is taking it very seriously. Carrying an ACL is not a joke.
I'm more puzzled that you don't think nerds get close to porn.
I don't think they make porn. This is their version. Yeah. No. I'm aware of their consumption of porn. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Wait, why am I aware of that? Why am I saying that matter of fact?
Wait, hold on 1 second. And why are you talking about half of our audience? I don't appreciate that.
I am part of the nerds. Fetishes are out.
You know what? Yeah, it is, I guess, fascinating. I would like to see a rich person get beat up for once. That's a good point, buddy.
Thank you. I would actually pay. If I'm going to pay for Paul Brothers, I'm paying for this. We're halfway through the show right now. The most, I can't believe I'm saying this, important topic of the day is Mark Zuckerberg tearing his ACL training for an MMA bout.
The show still has flaws. The show still has some flaws.
It's all right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Over the Top, where currently Mark Zuckerberg is standing as the most important story on Earth of the week. It makes sense, Peter. What's our next challenge? Please fix this.
Let me ask the great Jimmy Hart what he thinks. This legitimately bothers me, baby. Nobody wants this story to win. Unless he's looking for a manager, in which case I'm available, Zuck.
He just wants to write us a check for no reason. I mean, I could be his best friend. I don't have standards, Peter. What's next?
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Watch out. Oh, no. That's Michael Penix out of nowhere. Michael Penix, he beat Caleb Williams, securing his place on the top of every Heisman watch list. Beadle, I don't even really feel like asking you whether it's Penix or Zuck. We've done enough Zuck. You know it. He's out of here.
I do like that it's Penix versus Zuckerberg. Don't call me Penix. That's where we're at. You know we're not going to talk Mark Zuckerberg anymore. It's too close to the end of the show, and I don't want to risk it, that he's going to be the most important show of the week. So I am so sorry, Marky Mark, but you are going over the top. It is time to talk about this. Here's the deal. What happens when we jump to conclusions and we anoint people with end-of-year accolades before the season's even started? You all but jinxed Caleb Williams, and you made the kid cry. And now we're sitting here talking about somebody else altogether. I hope, Peter, that you and your kind, you talking heads and national media, I hope you're happy with yourselves. Are you?
So you're talking to yourself also.
Usually.
And listen, you don't blame me. I don't talk about college football. This may be the first college football story I've cared about all year. Why? Not because Penix hasn't gotten his due and now finally everyone will discuss him because he beat Caleb Williams. No, let's just be real. I don't want to beat the kid up, obviously, because he'd cry even more. No, I don't want to beat the kid up because things happen.
Crying's fun.
But here's the thing. You can cry after a game, a hard loss, and you can also go get consoled by your mom after a hard loss. You can't do both at the same time. You can't cry and get consoled by your mom immediately after a game before even going to the locker room. I'm not mad, Beadle. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but look, we can't lie to each other. I know it's 2023. I do therapy 19 times a week. I cry to This Is Us religiously like it's a hobby. I'm down with crying. You can't cry in your mom's bosom in the stands immediately after a loss. Agree or disagree?
I just think it's more of a warning to all the women out there thinking about dating Caleb Williams.
Go ahead.
That's a mama's boy if I ever saw one. I'm not about to walk into that. That is bad. Every time you say anything mean to him, he's going to run to his mom. She's going to hate every woman that comes into his life. Best of luck, ladies. Best of luck. Yeah, that triggered something in me. It really did. Triggered something hard.
That was deep. That was deep, Beadle.
Maybe I need therapy 19 times a week. All right, well, I don't want to make him cry. Now I feel like I'm being mean. Fine. Whose music is that? I don't know. It's Larry David's music. Oh, I'm so sad I got this. Curb Your Enthusiasm is coming back in February of 2024. Great. Is it Penix outdueling Caleb or the return of Curb Season 12, Peter?
Well, just the fact, I would normally say there's not that much to talk about because it's great news and I'm excited about it. But the tone that you have about Curb says, I need Crybaby Caleb to go over the top and let's talk about it What's your problem here? What's going on?
This is not going to win me any friends. It is probably one of my more unpopular opinions that I carry with me through life. I am not a fan of the show. Now, I am a huge fan of Seinfeld. So it's not a Larry David thing necessarily. I love Seinfeld. I've watched every episode 1,000 times, like pretty much anybody else in this world. I find Curb Your Enthusiasm to just be so formulaic. I get it. You're neurotic and every day is a stressful day and you have to scream by the end of it. It's just the same thing over and over again. Oh, we're waiting in line. The line's too long. Oh, my car. I don't care. I'm over it. And I know I'm going to get crushed.
But I have to ask, like, be honest with me.
I will.
How much have you truly watched it, or did you give up particularly early? Like, this isn't for me, it's annoying.
I don't know if I would say I gave up early, because I would check back in occasionally and I'd be like, ha ha, but it just became not interesting. I know I'm in the minority. I get it. This is like me with the Barbie movie all over again. It's like, what's wrong with her? It just doesn't do it for me. And I know it loses points with certain people when I say this out loud, and I've accepted it. I have friends that don't talk to me about this topic. I get it.
I'm just legitimately disappointed, Beadle.
Fine, tell me why it's so great. Go.
Larry just cracks me up. Everyone cracks me up on that show. Leon cracks me up on that show.
He's the best one. He's the best
Susie
guy.
cracks me up on the show. I'm amped for season 12. I'm thrilled it's coming back. I hope it's not the last one. But I do respect an interesting take, and an interesting take, albeit wrong, is still interesting. All right, whose music is that? Oh, it's Aaron Rodgers walking surprisingly briskly and without any sort of help. He threw more passes, and he entered MetLife Stadium without a cart before the Monday night game between the Jets and the Chargers. Do you want to talk about Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm or Larry David's favorite team, the New York Jets?
Wow, what a weird moment this has become. Look, I will say this. I will watch the first episode of season 12, and that will be my attempt to give it one more shot. I'm sure Larry David will sleep better knowing that, but I am sorry, sir. We need you to show yourself out of this place. Goodbye. Because Aaron Rodgers, it's not the throwing of the passes, okay, Peter? It's the walking into the stadium without so much as a glimpse of a golf cart anywhere near him. I don't care about the throws. Last time I checked, those are your arms. What I care about is your mobility. And I am starting to believe he might actually pull this off. I can't believe I said that.
Well, listen, to me, it's getting hard not to. You know why?
I know.
Because Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if you know this, he's a stubborn guy.
What?
Yeah, I know.
The hell you say?
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but he still takes a moment to take a dig at everybody who was on the other side of his beliefs whenever he gets a chance. That is who he is. He uses his petty to motivate himself. And the fact that he made this declaration of like, why not? I'm going to be the only man to do it ever. Achilles, so what?
What is the accent?
It's me, Aaron Rodgers, and I'm from Northern California. I don't know, but I know this. He wants to prove everyone wrong. So I actually, if I were forced to bet, I would say he is going to play. And I think it's going to create a fascinating situation. Like, now, fortunately, there probably won't be much controversy because Zach Wilson, every time he takes a step forward, seems to take 2 steps back. So I don't think there'll be some sort of big controversy. I think everyone will want Rodgers to play, but there are some potentially interesting scenarios there.
I agree with you. Pettiness and showing all of us stupid plebes that we're wrong is his oxygen. And
that's right.
I think he's getting a big take of that right now. All right, who is that? Oh, this is actual music playing. Get your freak on. Oh, no, I'll stop. Missy Elliott.
Do that.
Became the first female rapper to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And she looks and sounds amazing. Are we going to continue the Aaron Rodgers, will he, won't he? Or are we going to talk a little Missy Elliott?
Love Missy Elliott. Respect Missy Elliott. Happy she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know what? I'm changing my mind on the fly. I want to stay because I want to stay with Missy Elliott. I thought I was going to send Missy
Yay.
over the top, but now I'm sending A-Raj over the top, and I hope you don't break your Achilles again or tear it or whatever the hell you did. We don't even know what you really did, do we? It could
We
have just
don't,
been
and
like
we never will.
yeah, it might have just been like a strain, and now you're going to act like a hero when you come back at Thanksgiving. He'll play in the Black Friday game because it was never torn. You're over the top, Aaron Rodgers. Let's stay Missy for a second.
Okay, I love that.
Because Missy being the first female rapper to go into the Hall of Fame is awesome, right? Like, she deserves it. She's amazing. But it also sums up why I hate the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow.
What order do you guys do things in that Missy is the woman to be a hip hop artist in the Hall of Fame? Like, how did we skip past Queen Latifah and Salt and Peppa and Lauryn Hill and Missy, who came after all of those artists? Missy's debut album is Super Duper Fly is 1997. I just don't understand the order. And furthermore, what do you people do with TV? Like, for years, it was like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was taped a month ago, and now we're showing it on HBO. Like, they don't know. You know what they need to do? Hire WWE to do your Hall of Fame and run it live. Or hire whoever does any award show consistently and have them do it. Why is it so delayed? Why is there no order? Like, why do artists get in who've been around for 15 years with artists who've been around for 65 years? It just frustrates me, Beadle. It frustrates me.
You know what it reeks of? It reeks of like there are 4 people that are in charge of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they'll just randomly text each other during breakfast one day and be like, you know who I like? And then that's how they do it. It doesn't seem like there's any real formula or rhyme or reason to it. And you're right. I do think the concert should be live. I, for one, would watch the concert live. Doing it 16 years later, it's not, that ain't for me. That's not it.
Yeah, it's just, I have more. Let's see if it survives.
I can't believe you had so much. Okay.
No, and there's still more in the tank too. Whose music is that? Oh, it's the Colorado Buffaloes.
Oh, dear.
They're below 500, and the Coach Prime hype train. Remember that from a few weeks ago? Is all anybody can talk about?
Yeah.
Not quite the same. Do we want to move on to Coach Prime or stay with my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame complaints?
I'll be honest with you, much like the rest of the world, I don't have anything left to say about Colorado football.
And by the way, we already spent way too much time early in the season talking about Colorado. I stayed up until 2 in the morning to watch Colorado versus Colorado State.
Samesies. And by the way, I don't regret it. At the moment, it was hot. And that's how this world works. Strike while you're hot. He did a great job of that. I don't know what other tricks he has left. But as of right now, do not care. I want to hear what else you have against the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm a little intrigued right now.
Over the top you go, prime time. And yes, I'm not saying the whole story's over, but for right now it is. Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So number one, yeah, the delay in terms of when it airs drives me nuts. But also, like, the voting system is such, like, they literally just put it up on a website and people vote, right? And like, all due respect to Missy going in, it's awesome. But like, A Tribe Called Quest was on the ballot this year. Like, if you look at any given year, the people that get in and the ones that miss it, it will just drive you crazy. And I wish they were able to have like a committee that makes sense, that you're public about. Like, tell us who they are. Obviously, you'd have to have it be a wide range, people from all genres of music, so everyone's represented fairly. But like, don't do something as major as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, I think it's a combination of both. I'm pretty sure they have some anonymous people vote who we don't know about. Always. And then the other people are just like mad people just voting from different computers. Neither works for me.
Oh, you mean like NBA All-Star, when you figure out some sort of weird algorithm and you... Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Let me ask you this. Do you want all musical artists in charge, writers, producers? I mean, are we talking anybody from the world of music should be in charge of who enters?
I think it should be a mix of artists, producers, engineers, potentially labeled people, who have been in the industry for a long time.
Fans.
I'm fine with some fan vote for like one, I don't know.
Like 10% counts, 10% fan vote.
Yes. Exactly,
Okay.
But you can't base it completely on that either. So it's a hard line to find, and I just feel like right now they're not doing either side justice.
You know what? I agree with you on that. It is a very weird, arbitrary process, and it's made it farther than I thought it would in our show. This is our final one, though, for the day. NFL referees are calling everything, just everything, roughing the passer. It's becoming the new what's a catch debate. And oh boy, did I love that time in history. Are we talking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and everything that's wrong with that, or referees?
I feel very strongly this week about the referees.
Oh, why is that, Peter?
Oh, because KJ Henry of my Washington Commanders, a guy you probably wouldn't have seen playing very much prior to the departure of some other Washington Commanders last week, had what was a very clear and beautiful sack on a pivotal third down against the Patriots. However, that sack literally didn't even, when you watched it, not even a thought there could be a penalty, was called a roughing the passer because apparently it was explained later he put his body weight on top of the quarterback, which he didn't even really do. Anyways,
sure?
that sort of drive-ending sack instead became a 15-yard penalty, which led to a field goal immediately thereafter. Boom. 3 points, 100% because the refs called an arbitrary roughing call. I get it. You want to protect quarterbacks, but Beadle, it's reached like full-on crazy land of you're like, okay, how are these dudes supposed to do their job at all on defense?
Well, first of all, goodbye, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're going to give you this time now to go think about what you've done and how you can make yourselves better. And we will welcome the referees in. I mean, at this point, it's kind of amazing. But here's what I'm going to push back a little bit.
Go ahead.
Number one, it's not lost on me that it was the Patriots on that side of things. That's beautiful and poetic. Number two, for one, I want more roughing the passer. Because if it brings to me the likes of, I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget their names and I wanted to show them the respect that they all deserve. If it brings us closer and closer to the Clayton Tune era or the Tommy DeVito era, Gardner Minshew, who can get enough of Gardner Minshew? These are all guys that we have gotten. Aiden O'Connell, don't get me started on future Hall of Famer Aiden O'Connell. I want more of that. I want to see all of these guys out there. So roughing the passer, double up. Put your money where your mouth is, refs. Let's keep this thing going.
Are you trying to say that if they don't
knock out the starters, bring me these dudes? And the only way we're going to do that is roughing the passer over and over again. You're welcome, America.
Well, that's what made this one so crazy, too. I was like, wait a second. Last time I checked, that was Mac Jones. Why is he getting the Patrick Mahomes treatment? It was such a wild play. And would it be that hard? Here's my question. We know they have people watching every game in New York.
Every game.
Would it be that hard to have like one person who, if there's a really egregious one where they get it wrong, just says, hey, you guys got to pick that one up? They pick up flags all the time. You'll see PI calls where they all of a sudden go, actually, on second thought, that was not pass interference. And you're like, wait, how'd you change your mind? A guy called it. Why can't they do that with roughing?
I mean, that is kind of the point of having sort of the system, right? In all of sport, there's an entity, there's somebody to go to sort of correct it. But it's part of human nature, Peter. They're going to get some wrong, and it just so happens to be against your team. And now you're bitter. I can hear it in your voice. And
it happens. It's going to happen to all of us against our team at some point. It's just about what that moment is. It just seems like I get it. They've made their case. But I'm also at a point now where it's hard to sort of look at the quarterbacks of today, as great as they are. Yeah. It's really hard to compare them to the guys who actually played tackle football. It actually is hard.
You will not slander Tommy DeVito on any show that I'm a part of.
Hey, it's me, Tommy DeVito. So what?
DeVito over here.
I completed some passes to their asses.
Tommy DeVito. There it is. You know what? It's an actual sports topic. Made it all the way to the end. The undisputed most important thing on planet Earth this week is the refs and roughing the passers. You think we got it right?
I mean, I'll say this. No, and I don't know if we'll ever get it right, but a lot of people do feel strongly about this, and it has been a growing conversation all season, so we could have done worse.
I mean, nothing beats Flavor Flav winning, but I'll continue to do the show at least one more week.
By the way, I would rather have Flavor Flav reffing. How about that?
Flavor Flav, more Flavor Flav, we all win.
Roughing, boy.
Money.
That is it for us. Tune in next week to determine the only thing you need to care about and what goes over the top.